Hi quilting friends, I'm Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts. Welcome to Quilting Window and welcome to week 3 of our Carol Quilt Along. You guys are doing fantastic. You have the whole center of the quilt done. We finished our blocks, we sewed them together, and now it's time to blossom. We're gonna make a flower block. We're gonna be making this block right here today. I hope my little help and tips will help you succeed in making your flowers. I highly recommend start with one, learn what works for you, where you want to push your seam allowances, do you want to open some of them, and just remember, no matter what you do, have some fun doing it. This is so exciting. I took my pattern and I followed the directions in the pattern for cutting. You're gonna cut each block on its own because you want to have nice color combination. The pattern gives you directions for cutting all of the pieces. So just as you cut, make sure you pay attention, you're cutting correctly for your quilt. Now the next step, I'm gonna start with small blossoms like that. They're gonna start with half square triangle units. I love half square triangle units. I'm gonna take a light, I'm gonna take a dark, I'm gonna place them right sides together, beautifully stitched using the thread 2312. And for anybody that is just starting with us, I'm following Carol pattern and a kit from our website at laundrybasketquilts.com. You can go ahead and join us anytime if you would like to. We have the patterns, we have the kits available on our website. As soon as I make my half square triangle unit, and I'm gonna need 4 of them for one flower. There's 3 flowers, 3 buds in one flower. So 3 times 4 is 12 half square triangles. So remember, 12 half square triangle for one beautiful flower. Now the next step, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the half square triangle seam allowance right there in the back, open in the front, press it, and once I press it, I'm gonna trim it and square out. Now let me show you, you need one more unit to make this beautiful block, bud. It is this half square triangle unit. You need a blue and a red one, and I already sewn them together and I pressed it, but I can tell I need to trim it. Trimming is one of my favorite things to do because it helps me get great results. I don't want to, sometimes when you're sewing half square triangles, the fabric pulls and push. I do not want to start on my next step. Do I go ahead and trim it and look at, I had to trim it a little bit, how much better it looks, the unit, when you do trim it. Now I'm gonna go ahead trim it on the other side to a perfect 2.5 by 2.5. And the next thing, I'm gonna lay all my pieces and make my flower. I'm gonna make 3 of those blossoms for one flower, 3 of them. Now, if you would like to, you can have all of the fabrics matching in each flower. But if you wanted to, it is okay to do different colors and you can shuffle them between the flowers. So you could have a pink in here and red in here, or the other way around, or maybe pink flowers here. Make it a little bit more scrappy. As I was designing this quilt, I was thinking, should I do scrappy or should I do more cohesive? Since this is second quilt in this collection, I did that one more cohesive. The first one is a little bit more scrappy. So now, as soon as you have your half square triangle units done, it's time to lay out all your pieces and pay attention that you don't turn anything wrong side up. So right there, lay them out to point to the top of my bud right there, and right there I'm gonna need a plain square from the background to make this unit. I'm gonna start by sewing those units into a row. Stitch, flip it open, and move on and sew this one together. Then here I'm gonna sew this to this just by placing right sides together, stitch and flip it open. Now it's up to you. If you would like to, you can open the seam allowances between those half square triangles. It felt really nice for me. It didn't have as much bulk as I was trying to push one way. So that maybe works for you too. Now all that you have to do, take this, sew it together with this, and now you have your first beautiful bud for your flower. Look at this. Those remaining two seam allowances, I pushed it towards the right here towards the triangle, and right here it locked it really nice for me when I was sewing this to this. So that is what I did. You're gonna repeat like I said to make 3 of them for one flower, 3 buds. Now there are 2 other units that we need. We're gonna need this unit right here and then leaf unit, one step at a time. Let's start with those red unit. It's like the bottom of the big flower right here. So what I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need rectangles in red. I cut them from the directions in the pattern, and I need 2 of them. Then I'm gonna need little squares that I'm gonna place it right over on each corner, just this way. All right, so I have 2 of them, and now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna draw lines because I wanted to sew and trim and flip it open, and this one is this way and this one is the opposite way. How do I do that? I just take my ruler and I place it on my square and now draw the line. Then the top one is exactly the same way. Then the left side is opposite, mirror image to it. So it is nice to draw this front of you, left and right, so that way you do not make a mistake. That is the most common mistake. We rush, we want to quickly sew the squares. I wouldn't do that. I would go ahead, draw it, then I would go ahead and take a pin it very nice, okay, just so everything stays in place. And I usually pin it on the side that I'm gonna cut off. So right there, and I'm gonna pin it right on this side. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun, because guess what? When I do preparations like this, all that I have to do, go to my sewing machine, stitch right on that line, and then flip it open, and I'm gonna have a beautiful unit. Of course, we're gonna trim it. I have started those 2 guys already, so let me show you. Isn't it beautiful? And what I did is once I trim it, I open the seam in the back and press it. They are going to be great because they are going to be a part of our flower, and I have to think for a second how I put them. Oh, they're right this way, here and here. Do you see how it took me a second to think about it? Later on, we're gonna sew them to the flower. But for now, I just want you to make them, set them with your flower, and move on to your next unit. And guess what? Now you are a pro in sewing the squares to rectangle to create those fun shapes like this. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the leaves. We're gonna take a square rectangle, we're gonna place a square, we're gonna draw a line, we're gonna stitch on that line just like I stitched it. Then we're gonna go ahead, take a ruler, trim it. Let me trim it right here, and as soon as you finish trimming, you can go ahead, open the seam, flip it open, and you have a beautiful unit. I'm gonna show you this one more time. Both of those, I have 2 of my squares, I have a stitch line right there, and go ahead, I'm gonna take this, trim it, I have to rotate, so I have my ruler laying right on my seam allowance. This is the 1/4 inch mark, and I'm staying 1/4 inch away from the stitch line to create a nice 1/4 inch seam allowance, and look at this. When I open, I have a beautiful leaf. And again, you're gonna make 2 of them, one left and one right, but this time I need you to do 2 sets of 2, okay, because we need one for here and one for here. All right, so 4 of them total for one flower block, 2 left and 2 right. I think you're getting so excited. I'm getting excited because guess what? We're gonna move on to putting our block together. So we're gonna start by laying our block. It is so important. I cannot tell you how many times, and this happens to me too, if I don't lay, I'm talking, I'm visiting, I'm playing, I'm not doing a good job because I miss things and something turns wrong way. So I'm gonna start with just one unit right here. This is the first unit, and this is the tip of my flower right here, and this unit has our flower bud. Then we have this bottom of the flower, left and right. Make sure it positions the right way. Do not worry, you're gonna be like, whoa, this is not matching with this. It is going to, because we're gonna match here. Where's the 1/4 inch seam allowance? It's gonna be perfect. I guarantee you that. We're gonna have 2 light rectangle and a light square. So I'm gonna start by sewing my light rectangle to my like this red leaf part, I'm gonna call it. Now I have 4 units. All that I have to do is take this, place it right sides together. I'm gonna match really nice, and right here, this is important, I'm gonna put my pin right through to make sure, yeah, look at this, look at where did it come out, right on a stitch line where it needs to be. So right there, I have this marked. I'm gonna have one more pin on the top right there, and one more pin in a lower part of this unit, holding everything together. I'm gonna stitch and flip it open. Then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, place it, stitch and flip it open. This is not matching because it's not stitched yet. Once you stitch, it's gonna be perfect, and if it's not, you need to trim it to the correct size. All of the unfinished sizes are always in the pattern, so it's easy to do that. Stitch, flip it open, and then sew this to this. Let me show you. Move this out of the way. Oh, this is actually our other pieces. I'm gonna pull them out just to show you, but this one I have to take stuff out and just lay it out. I don't have one finished yet because I'm working on this block and I'm sharing it how I'm doing it with you. And you know, I love making extra blocks just to show you how I've done things, you know, to make it a wonderful, wonderful block. So this is our bud. Then I did the rest of the units by just laying everything else, following the pattern, starting with my flowers, light rectangle, my leaf, light rectangles, my bud and my leaf. Make sure you pay attention, left and a right. And this is the bottom unit where I just had the 2 leaves, square in light, square in light, and 2 light rectangles. Once I piece my units together, it is so easy to put the blocks together because I take this, sew to this, then do the same thing in the bottom, and then sew everything together for most beautiful blocks. And I know you are excited about it, so let me show you this one. Isn't that delightful? Look at this, how pretty it is. The block should be 11 and a half by 11 and a half. So really nice size. Now the block is missing something. It doesn't have the stem yet. And I thought I'd take the time and show you how I make my stems. So there is all different ways to do it. You can applicate the stem by hand or by machine, but in the pattern, you have a beautiful template for your stem, and I want to show you something that I love doing it, okay? So I like to do things really fast. I love fusible webbing, so I took a fusible webbing, then I took a piece of fabric, and I iron my fusible webbing to a piece of fabric like this. Look at, there's no drawing on it. Yes, I could have drawn the stem on it and then cut it on a line. That would be fun, but guess what? Even faster, I can take this piece of fabric, take a rotary and a ruler, place it right over my pre-pressed fabric with fusible webbing, and just go ahead and with just one smooth cut, I need a longer ruler to cut a stem. You wanted me to show you how I do that. Let me show you. So for example, and how do I know what size to cut? Do you know what I did? I just measure. I took my stem and I took my ruler and measured. So right there, look at it, it's a 1/4 of an inch. Love it. I'm gonna go ahead, place my ruler now over the edge of this fusible webbing stuck to a beautiful fabric piece. I have to be careful that nothing shifts and moves. All right. And now I'm gonna go ahead and look at it very quickly, and the edges of my applique gonna be beautiful on my stem because this rotary cutter is so nice and sharp. And now I have a wonderful strip that it's perfect to place it on my flowers. And what also I like is I cut my strip a little bit longer in case my block is not perfect. We all love to believe that our blocks come out perfect, but sometimes they don't. So what I do is I just place my stem, I match with the flower, lay over my leaves, and I can then measure that approximately I need something this long. I'm not gonna press it yet to the background because I need 2 MOA stems, and I can look at the picture on the pattern and the layout that the stem is meeting someplace in the middle of this light square. Do you see this light square? So you can look at it, where's the middle, and it's meeting with the big stem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just lay this one down and lay it just about to the middle. Oh, this looks great. With a small scissors, I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. And then guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of this strip on the other side right here, okay? Right here, and estimate and cut my second stem. Yes, you can use the template and cut it exactly, but it's nothing wrong with you just doing it as you go, matching it up to your block. Look at this now. All that I'm gonna have to do is gently trim it up here and gently trim it up here because I just want to come to the flower. I don't want to go over. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim it perfect and do the same thing on this side. And the next that I'm gonna do is take this paper off. I gently creased it. I'm gonna move the paper away. The fusible webbing is right on my stem. I'm gonna lay this back down right there in a position, right position, and it's the best to do it on your ironing board so you don't have to move it again. And you're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tuck it under my big stem right there. If you even wanna, look at this, so you don't have to like juggle stuff and worry about it, I could go ahead, I'm gonna move my ruler, move my iron a little bit. Let's see, is it warm enough? Oh, it's getting there, it's getting there. That's gonna be great. I'm gonna go ahead and press the little guys first before I do the big one, so I don't have to worry about 3 stems. I can just do those 2, and then my big one is gonna cover right over. So right there, gently press, perfect. It's need a little bit more heat. This is doing great. Oh, wonderful. And I'm gonna do this stem, This is gonna be great. Now, I'm already know that I'm gonna be using this thread 4644 to stitch around the edges. If that thread is not the right color for you, I highly recommend the cocoa blue threads. There is a great variety in it, and those threads are from Orfil, and I'm gonna be stitching with a low blanket stitch, and that's what I have in my quilt already. So when you finish your stem, you wanted to decide how you're going to stitch. You can also use invisible thread, but I think this beautiful low blanket stitch adds so much fun detail to the quilt. So look at my first ones are down, and now I'm just gonna gently crease it to get the paper to fall off the back and just the fusible webbing. Look at how nice it is, and I'm gonna place it right there, cover it up, very gentle. Now there would be some bumps you're gonna be going over, especially where the leaves are, so make sure you're using a beautiful non-stick needle for your machine appliquing, for your fusible machine appliquing. And when you're going through those tough places where there is a little bit more layers of fabric, don't give up, just slow down, and you can sometimes help yourself with the 2 or 3 stitches to do it very slowly, move forward and keep going. I'm gonna iron this stem, and I cannot wait to show you how cute it looks. The stem just adds it up so much. Don't go too high so you don't get to the flower. You want it to be nice and low. You want a nice transition. You want to be nice and even between the leaves. Yes, and you want to nicely cover your little short little stems that you just applique. Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm really enjoying adding applique to my pieced blocks. Now, if you like to applique by hand, maybe working with bias tape maker would help you achieve a really nice result. I like the fusible one. It was so quick, so easy. Look at that. Now, all that I have to do is keep going, because we're gonna be making 12 of those blocks. And once we have our blocks, flower blocks done, and we did the applique, now we can sew it into the center of the quilt. How do you do that? You're gonna sew your blocks into 2 rows, row on the top and row on the bottom, and a left and a right side around the center. Sew it onto the center, left and a right, at the top and the bottom, and in no time you're gonna have a beautiful center of the quilt. And next week, our week number 4, all that we have to do is add our borders. We have an inner border, we have an outer border, we have a beautiful another inner border, and then a big outer border right here. So pieced border is what we're gonna be playing next week with and enjoying. This week you have a little bit of work to do. You have 12 blocks to make, but I think you can do it. Keep going, and chain sewing is amazing. I do like to make 1 block at a time, because I love to enjoy each block at its own, and the blossoms so nice for me. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Leave us a comment, give us thumbs up. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful quilt along called Carol. And if you need anything, visit our website at laundrybasketquilts.com. We have wonderful quilting supplies, beautiful patterns, and a gorgeous fabrics that I designed for Andover. And this quilt is made with our Lighthouse collection, which is a stunning fabric collection, and you can make many beautiful projects. I hope you enjoyed today. Happy quilting, and I can't wait to see you next week for our last week of our quilt along. Happy quilting!